got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey!
What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Hump Day. We are back on another Wednesday. Super excited to be with all of you. If this is your first time on Say, hey, happy Wednesday, Jeannie. If this is your first time on Say That channel, we just want to welcome you. Welcome to the space where we are unapologetic about the ugly come up of entrepreneurship and small business ownership. We have all heard those stories about how people start off with nothing and then have massive success, right? But what happens in the middle? What happens during that ugly come up? That's what we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome. We're super excited to have you on with us. Typically, we have a topic of the day, and we've got 25 minutes to answer the topic of the day. And when we run out of time, oh no, what next? We've run out of time. Don't you worry. Become a Patreon member, and you can catch all of the juicy tidbits in overtime with our guests are there. And in fact, once you become a member there, you can get all of the overtimes for all of our guests. So make sure you check that out for sure.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So we are still in the month of March, which means
that's right. It's March MLM Madness.
all right. So what's the topic for the day, Jay?
The topic is, are you working harder on yourself than your business? This is a great question. And I would say a great question for our network marketing themed month, because you get so much professional and personal development when you are a part of a network marketing company. And so I think this idea about working on yourself during this month of March is a great question for us.
Absolutely. But it's not just us, is it?
It is not. It is not just us. I'm really excited to have someone with us today that I think is the perfect person to answer today's question. She has been in the health industry for over 10 years. I even dare I say it, 15 to 20. And she is someone who has been in network marketing companies, has had a lot of success, and I think is definitely the person that you want to hear from when it comes to working on your mindset. Please, everybody, give a really warm round of applause to Kelli McCamy.
Our next guest.
There she is.
Welcome, Kelli.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Oh, we're super excited to have you with us. And for those people who don't know a lot about your story and who you are, let's start there. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you discovered network marketing, and why you decided to try out that industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So just for the record, it's been about 16, maybe a little over 16 years that I have been in the health and wellness space. And that is because of network marketing. That is what introduced me to the health and wellness, because I joined a health and wellness network marketing company in 2007. So you guys do the math. I think that's 16 years. I'm not sure, but somewhere around there. So yeah, it's first of all, I just want to say that was, I think we can all look back as a turning point. There's several turning points in our life and how things just changed and doors started opening. And I can say that I'm such a huge advocate for network marketing, because it does so much for you in so many ways. And it opened one of many doors for me, but the first one was an introduction to the health and wellness space. And I grew that passion and am doing what I do today primarily because of that choice. So that was back in 2007. I had no idea what network marketing was. I tell everybody all the time, my biggest asset at the time was the fact that I was so naive. I didn't know anything. And so when someone said, hey, you need to do this, I just did it because I didn't know any better. And I look back on that and I think, okay, that is a lot of that mindset is what got me there, because I didn't try to reinvent the wheel or figure out things on my own. I just did what the leaders and those that were successful at the time told me to do. But I can't say I was perfect in all of that. I resisted, and one of the things that I resisted in from the beginning was personal development. And I remember I was in Arizona, in Scottsdale, at my first training, and I was in a room of about 300 people, and I thought I'd walked in and joined a cult of all these crazy people like dancing and singing, and it was quite eye-opening to me. But I remember it was a 3-day training, and I remember I just kept hearing personal development. And I went up to one of the trainers who later became one of my mentors, still one of my mentors to this day, and one of my very best friends. And she said to me, Kelli, you've got to invest in yourself. You've got to work harder on yourself than you do on your business or anything else. And it didn't make sense to me. The light was not coming on, and I just kept thinking, yeah, but Michelle, I've got to make money, and I've got to make money now. I don't have time for this stuff. I mean, that was my mindset. And so I left there, and I didn't do it, and I struggled. And the next training was in Orlando, Florida, and it was 6 weeks later, and I almost didn't go because I was about to the point of giving up, and I'm like, I just can't do this. And I went, but I had already bought my ticket. I didn't want to lose the money, so I went ahead and went to the airport, and my plane was delayed, and so I went to a bookstore there at the airport. And, this little voice in my head was still saying personal development. I'm like, okay, maybe instead of getting this People magazine to read on while my flight's being delayed, I should, try to find a personal development book. Well, at the airport little store, you're a little limited. So the only one I could find, I'd never heard of it before, but it was a book by Ken Blanchard called No Can Do, KNOW, Can Do. And between the delayed flight and my flight there and the taxi cab ride to the hotel and all of that, I finished the whole book during that time. So I was late walking into the training because of my delayed flight, but the light came on, and I'm like, and the whole theme of the book was, why can two people get the same information, hear the same thing, and one be immensely successful and the other one nothing happens? And it's all because of how hard they work on themselves and investing themselves. And the light just came on. So I made the most of that 3-day training and left there and just immersed myself in personal development. And, I can't say it was straight up to the top, but things started happening immediately after that. It didn't take long, but I stayed consistent and have to just stay. So that's kind of my long story.
I love that story.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Okay, so I love that, you finding these moments where you're actually, you're listening to the little quiet voice that's like, don't get the People magazine, maybe you should get this. Turns out to be the thing that completely is the switch that turned the light bulb on in your head, as you were saying.
Yeah.
I love that. So talk to us a little bit about, I think the thing is, when you first hear it, if you have no idea what someone's saying, you're just like, whatever, is this the self-help section of the bookstore? What are we really talking about? What does it mean to actually work on yourself?
It can mean so many things. There's so many different types of personal development. Mindset, I think we all hear the word mindset a lot, and that's such a general term, but if you dive deep into it, your mind controls everything that you do, good or bad. And it has so much power over us. So it's important to work on what you're putting in. You've always, your mom probably told you when you were a child, watch who you hang around with, because you become like that. And so it's the same thing. Watch what you put in. And So you can read books that really work on the mind and the subconscious. One of my mentors, I had the privilege of meeting him and actually working with him before he passed away, was Bob Proctor. And and just for the record, because people will find out my maiden name is Proctor and no relation. Okay, I get asked that all the time. It just was a coincidence. Everyone thinks that's my dad, but it's not. But Bob Proctor does a lot of lectures, and his philosophies are a lot on the subconscious. And if you've ever seen the movie The Secret, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, mindset and what you think about. So there's that type, to answer your question, Janelle, there's that type of personal development. But, going back to that book by Ken Blanchard, No Can Do, he talks about the triangle, and he talks about, I think he calls it the learning triangle. And there's three parts of, three sides of a triangle. So three parts of that is to be successful in network marketing is your knowledge, your skills, and your desire. And so that's what personal development, to me, that's the three parts is, that mindset, like we talked about, but also your learning. You want to learn, obviously, all about your company and your products and your services and the details there, but also just the skills of doing the business and always be acquiring the knowledge. And so, there's just so many different types, but I think it's more the soft skills. And I heard a statistic the other day, I'm not going to try to repeat it, but they were talking about how employers today are looking more at soft skills that graduates are having, and the importance of those soft skills, which comes from personal development, than the scores and the grades and things like, and their skills that they've acquired. So I think there's just so many different types. If I do firmly believe that if you want to be successful, then study someone that has what you want or has the success that you want and is doing what you want, and do what they do. And there's quotes around that philosophy or that concept all over the place. But I read a lot of biographies, especially of leaders, from world leaders to community leaders, and just just to be able to get in all aspects of personal development. So hope that answered that question.
That's fascinating.
I love that. One of the things that like recently that I've been kind of making connections with is that our stories and what we go through and the things that we like learn in our lives are meant to be told, so that way we can share them with others so that they can learn. And I think it's really, I really like actually what you said, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, personal development books, and like you're going to go to this like one book that like teaches you a thing. But sometimes it's not just that. Sometimes even reading a biography about someone and like learning about the things that they've learned along their journey of life can also be just as profound and helpful, if not more so, right? Because we all, it's what we as humans we do. We learn from stories more than anything.
Yeah. I heard, or I guess back early when I first started in the industry, my mentor told me the 3 golden rules. And she said, don't ever forget the 3 golden rules. She said, when you are in, and honestly, I think I know this is relating to network marketing, but this can relate to any business, is number 1, get excited. Number 2, stay plugged in. And number 3, never quit. And if you follow those 3 golden rules, and personal development is going to help you do that, because if you remember back to my story and that 6-week that 6-week gap that I had, I almost quit. And it's because I lost my excitement. I wasn't staying plugged in, and I almost quit. And personal development keeps you excited. You're always learning, and you're always growing, and you're proud of yourself, and you're gaining confidence along the way. I mean, it just does so much for you.
Yeah. So I think, and Kelly, so I know you've been in this industry now for a while, and one of the things I used to, or I do love about our or this industry is the idea that there are many people who participate in companies that don't have a lot of financial success, but you'll see them, get on stage because maybe they win different contests or other things like that, or they contribute in some other way, so they're recognized, and you'll hear them talk about just what you're talking about, this idea that I'm here for what I'm getting out of this experience, not, in all aspects, not just finances. And
Right.
I think that's a big part of when we think business. I often think we think spreadsheets, or it's money, and obviously we're all trying to live a very, maybe not comfortable, but it's exciting life, where things are taken care of for us. But with personal development, the reward isn't always monetary. Have you
Right.
found that yourself?
Absolutely. And even though I had a lot of success with my first company in network marketing, back when I first started, a lot of people don't, but you are so right. Honestly, I think most people join network marketing. Yes, the money's there. They want to be successful in financially, but they also want to be a part of something bigger than they are. And that's what network marketing does. And if you do, the companies provide so much training and so much personal development. I mean, and it's all, I say free. I know you're running your business, so you're spending money and running your business, but you've got it at your fingertips, and to take advantage of that. And I recommend it. And honestly, I think that's why some people don't see success, is they don't take advantage of everything provided for them. But yeah, there's so many stories. When you were saying that, Winston, I was thinking back to so many people that I would see on stage and just see the transformation in them from one year to the next, or from 1 year to 6 months later. They're like totally different people. They're confident. They believe in themselves. Their life is turned around. It's changed in some way, maybe not financially, but in some positive, impactful way. And more importantly, now they're inspiring others to do the same.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a great point. I remember people who used to, again, and not maybe not hitting the ranks as fast or whatever, but they talk about all the success they were having in their personal lives, how they got promotions on their jobs because of the stuff they've been reading now, and how they've been applying a lot of the same disciplines, from the business into their own, just even their personal lives. A lot of relationships got repaired because people had to reach out through that awkward phone call, to pitch their product. And next thing you know, they're like, oh, I miss you. I haven't talked to you in a while, that kind of thing. So it's a really powerful vehicle,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I know stories of a few people that when you said relationships, that their marriages improved. Their relationships with their siblings and with their parents, or, different things. I remember, in a company that had a lot of influx of young people, and it was such a privilege to be able to inspire and be a mentor myself to a lot of the young people. And I would see their relationships with their parents get better, because of what they were learning and the personal growth that they were receiving and taking advantage of. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I hear that, and you know what it makes me think of? I know for me, that was one of the most fun things for me, is because me and my parents ended up working together in the same company. I used to tell people, I'm like, they're like my ninjas over here. Nobody thinks they're doing anything, and they're super influential and all these other things. But as I'm listening to you guys, I'm thinking, one of the reasons why network marketing helps, I feel helps strengthen those relationships, because I think it's the vehicle that helps both parties dream again. And when both parties are dreaming, whether it's kids and parents, whether it's spouses, significant others, siblings, but now the two of you have like this dream again. And like, even if it's not exactly the same, but you understand the significance of just having a dream and someone going for it and like supporting each other in that. And I think that's one of the things that's really special about network marketing. That's really different from many other
traditional businesses. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think too, you know, as you grow, and again, without the personal development and things, you know, you can't grow. I either, you know, I always say you're either growing or you're dying. So you've got to choose growing. And to do that, you've got to take some action and just pour into yourself through personal development. But I think it helps you identify your weaknesses as well as your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
But yet when you're identifying your weaknesses, that's kind of a draw the line in the sand moment to where you're taking some ownership. And you don't do that if you're not growing personally. And that's where your relationships improve, because you're taking some ownership, and so are they. And so you're able to work better. You can set more meaningful goals together. Just have that working and personal relationship together in a more meaningful way.
What's that?
Because like, yeah, like where else do you get to do that? Like in most other jobs, you can't like bring your spouse to your like training.
Yeah.
But like with this, you're encouraged to bring everyone in your life, right? Like anyone could potentially learn from the personal development that was being
implemented.
Yeah.
At the training.
And
That's such a good
you know, you bring up a good point, and this may be getting off topic just a little bit. So many times I've seen where one spouse wasn't supporting the other, like one spouse was doing the network marketing, the other one wasn't, and one wasn't supporting the other. But then once they did come to an event, a company event, that totally changed. And so that's one of my biggest tips or recommendations is to bring your spouse to those events. Let them see it firsthand. Don't, it's like just trying to discover this is a blind person. Don't even try to tell your spouse about it. You know, just get them there and let them see it and experience it for themselves.
That's a great analogy.
That really is.
I love that analogy. Okay, so here's something that I would love for folks to hear a little bit about. So you have also then, the company didn't make it, right? Winston and I are experienced in that. And so you are no longer, right, like working with a particular network marketing company, and you have still remained passionate now about health, right? And so you've been coaching people around health. And I know this, and I would love to hear a little bit from you. You've been doing that for a while, but recently you were introduced to another network marketing company that you have decided to participate in. Maybe not to the fullest degree as you have in the past, but I'm curious to know what was behind that decision to take that on.
Yeah, sure. So I'll kind of share the whole journey since I left that first company. And just to be perfectly clear, that company did make it. They had they've rebranded. It's a great company. I still buy their products. I still recommend their products. I don't do their business anymore. But something very unfortunate happened. I think the FTC tried to make an example out of them for the entire industry, and they just happened to be the ones picked and hit by the FTC. But they did come out 2.5 years later and did not, I mean, basically just rebranded and kept building and proved all the allegations were wrong. It just cost a lot of money to fight the FTC, but they're one of the few companies that did and won. So that was good. But that was my only source of income. So I had to, you know, to go somewhere else. So that's kind of how that went. But so grateful for the 8 years I was with that company and with all I learned. And I would not be where I am today without that 8 years with them. And just watching that company, and I knew the owner personally, obviously, and just to see how he handled that, going through that 2.5 years and just the resilience was a huge example to anyone. So lots of good came out of it, even though it was not a great situation. But I did flounder around, but that 8 years did grow my passion for the health and wellness. And so I won't go into all the details. I did go to a few other companies after that, but I decided that, people, because I learned so much about the wellness space, people started coming to me, asking me questions, what about this? What about that regarding health? And automatically thinking I was a health coach or nutritionist or something. And so I just went ahead and went to school and got the certification and opened up a health coaching practice about 2.5 years ago. And it's a private practice. I specialize in type 2 diabetes and healthy weight loss without plans or programs, just helping people, coaching them on what they need to do for them. Everyone's different. And so that's what I'm doing now primarily, but I will always be involved in network marketing. Some of the products, different health products, I'm connected to several different networking companies, network marketing companies through my health coaching business, just because of products sometimes that I recommend. The habits have to come first before products are going to work. But
Sure.
To answer your question, just recently I did join a company that has nothing to do with health and wellness, but I always said that if I could find a company that would just give people what they're looking for. I always joke that people don't wake up in the morning saying, oh, I need to find a great nutritional product. That was always what I said when I was with that company. It was always something you need, picking up the phone, selling, which is great. People do need that. That's just not what's first thing on their mind. So, is our time up?
Finish your thought. It is the timer, but finish your thought.
Okay. So, I said, I asked myself, what are people wanting and needing today? And if I can find a network marketing company that gives that. And so number one, people are wanting to make more money, wouldn't you say, in this day and time? People are also wanting to save money on everything from toilet paper to, their, I don't know, anything that they buy at Walmart or on Amazon. They're wanting to save money. And I think also, I said it before, people are still wanting to be a part of something bigger than what they are. And I thought, if I can find a company that does that. So I found one. It is a startup company. I always said, especially if you're beginning in the network marketing, this is probably not the best choice generally. There's always exceptions to everything. But it is a startup, but I'm loving it. It is giving people exactly that, a way to save money. It's a financial type company, but it's nothing that people have to buy an auto ship for every month or anything like that. They don't have to spend money they're not normally spending, but they're able to save money. And I know that leaves a lot of open questions unanswered probably, but that's why I'm doing it.
That's what they have to go to overtime for.
Okay.
We're gonna get into that into overtime, but I'm sure there are many people who are intrigued and would love to reach out to you. So we already put up your Instagram, your Facebook, ways in which people can book a free consultation with you. All of that is also in the description below. So if you guys want to do that, please reach out to Kelli. She is a real person. She will respond to you. We want to make sure that we make that connection happen for everyone. But this has been amazing. I thank you so much for sharing your insights and your proof that personal development is definitely a requirement in order to get to the place you want to go.
Say that.
Do I have time to share some of my favorite books, or is that for overtime?
We'll do it in overtime. Yeah. Okay. Guys, make sure you tune in. But until we see you guys next week, as always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that.
Say that.
See you guys in overtime.